Welcome back to this week's makeup tip of the week. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you had an amazing week. Now, this week is actually coming to you from a request of the eye look that I did in my Noah Fish's iconic fish and how to make your gameplay opaque on the cheeks from last week. So this has been my go-to summer look for this season. I am obsessed. So what you're gonna need is your obviously depuff and prime, your white grit stick. If you do not have a white grit stick in your makeup kit and you have, I don't want to say suffer because that's not the right word. If you have issues with creasing or oily eyelids, even still with your depuff and prime, you need this. Seriously, game changer. And this look is so easy to do. So we're not going to overthink it. The other colors that we're going to need is this is like my go-to for summer. We have Barkerville, Maple Ridge, Fort St. John, which is alluring, and then of course Salmon. We cannot live without her. Seriously, if you're looking for a place to start with your art shadows with MisMacK, Salmon Arm is the place to go. You're gonna see when I apply it how it neutralizes out that darkness. I can't live without it. And if you're on Salmon and you're a MisMacKer for a while, oh my gosh, can you please comment below on how much Salmon has saved like your everyday routine, like the darkness. We have new MisMacKers from all over Canada, also into the States who are discovering us. So if you've been a MisMacKer for a while, please comment below and welcome the new people to our community. It's so exciting. So, okay, let's get started. Step one, depuff and prime. We're gonna whip it like ketchup. Now, full disclosure, I do have my foundation on already. I quickly did that at home and set it with the blur, but I did not do my depuff and prime. So you want to whip it like ketchup. You're gonna, oh, this one's empty. Okay, oh, not empty, but it doesn't have a ball. When you have a ball, and in my other ones you'll see, I'm just gonna put this on the back of my hand. We took this out for sanitary purposes at the shop, and I don't know how it ended up here at logistics. Anyways, that's my depuff and prime. I'm gonna take and dab it and massage this all the way in. Obviously, when it's yours, you would roll, okay? So whip it, take that ball and go like this until the product comes out. Once you do it a few times, you won't need to do it again, but when they're new, there's a bit of an airlock in it. So that's the only thing. You just wanna whip it like ketchup, tap that ball on the hard point of the back of your hand or on a table with paper or something underneath it until that product comes down. Okay, so this guy, multi-use magic. So MisMacK is an ecosystem. So for our new MisMacKers, welcome. How MisMacK is totally different. So completely pro-performing on and off the field, from the runway to running just in general. It's the best products and everything is designed to go together. So MisMacK ecosystem is where one product is great on its own, but it's better together. So depuff and prime is one of those magical products and like a key to our ecosystem. It is our depuffer. It has natural hibiscus, which is like nature's Botox. It has natural caffeine extract in it, so help to depuff underneath the eyes. We have seen massive transformations in our chairs when it instantly depuffs underneath there. It's wild. Then, because technically there's no oil in it, it's her primer for our eyeshadow. It's also our glitter glaze. If you're looking to do a nice soft glitter glaze, I do have a video down below, you just have to go find it, where you can do a wash of glitter on the eye. That is your primer, so we're glazing with it. It's also our transfer-proof mixing media when we mix any of our art shadows in with it to create a custom gel liner. You can create it to create the faux freckles with our glitter, or even with shade if you're looking for faux freckles. You can use it for a transfer-proof brow with any of our art shadows, and then lips. So seriously, if this guy is not in your makeup bag as of yet, you are going to want one because she is like the key to the makeup ecosystem with MisMacK. Okay, you wanna let that dwell down. So now that it's not tacky, we're gonna go in with our all over blending brush. I'm gonna use two of these guys today, one for cream with the grit stick, and then one for my shadow. So when I first start out, I take the back of my shadow brush and I twirl it over my salmon so it releases the product. And then I'm gonna pick it up and use my handy dandy mirror and my art palette. And I'm going to start actually in the inner corner of my eye on the side of my nose. Do you see the difference? Just with that. Salmon is amazing. So now we're gonna apply, starting from our lid, I'm going to really make sure that this is quite opaque. Whenever you're using the grit sticks, you wanna make sure that you have this underneath so it has something to stick to. Because if not, the waxes, and there is a jojoba oil in our grit stick, it will move with the natural oils of your lid. So this is a really key, important step for any makeup application, whether you're doing a pro or you're wanting it for longevity. It's just these little tweaks and these little steps. Don't forget them because it really helps with the longevity of your makeup application, okay? And it's simple. So don't overthink it. We're starting in that inner corner. We're really pressing it into the skin. We wanna make sure it's nice and opaque and it's not creating skip marks. So if you have a little bit more texture or looser skin on the lid, you know what I'm talking about. When you drag it, it can create these lines. That's when you go the opposite direction and you go up all different directions until it's smooth in every nook and cranny, I like to say. I'm gonna lightly take this down underneath because I do have my foundation underneath it. Okay, I know my eye looks itty bitty now, but look at how, right? Salmon arm, can't live without her, okay? Make sure that you do have a magnetic palette because they come just like this, okay? And this is our new ones. It says Sports Color Cosmetics. We're rebranding, it's so exciting. But they come like this. Now, salmon arm is one of the harder like textures of our shadows. She is okay if you're just purchasing it and it's in here, but you have to take it in and out and there's just heavy risks. So make sure that you have a magnetic home, we call it. This is the eyelid, and it can have a safe place to land and it has a little home. So we're gonna go and we're gonna do the other side. So I'm really twirling this, starting on the inside of the inner corner of my eye. I'll go this way so you can see. Always thinking that we're working from the lid up. And I do pick up quite a few like layers with this. We want it to be opaque. Now, if you are someone who is fairer, like I'm gonna say like Katie, so if you're an MM1, 2, or 3, you're gonna wanna mix this with a bit of your canvas, AKA seashell, because that's going to make it not peachy, because this could be, when you're applying it on a fair of them all skin tone, it can show up as salmon, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's not, we want it to be about 1 to 2 shades like lighter than your natural skin tone, and this can go really peachy. So seashell, AKA canvas, is your mixing one, and you mix it until you get it to your correct base color. All right. Matte and opaque. You cannot use a shimmer for this step, okay? Shimmer pushes texture forward, all right? So want to think of even like a dark shimmer. So when you're talking about summer nights, I think that's the darkest shimmer that we have, which is Prince George. That one does have a light reflex. So if you have more texture on your eye, it will push texture forward. Anything that has a light reflectant will push things forward. Matte will push texture back. So our matte collection is like the best. It is really hard to find good matte shadows out there, which is why we created them. And then the ones that have like, it looks like a shimmer, but it actually buffs off is Raven, Pitch Black. Summer Nights is a funny one because when you blend it, it will go to a more cool tone, kind of like a purple tone. And the more you press it, and you can even use it wet, it's gonna have that shimmery bronze. So that's the one that can be a little bit interesting. But definitely Raven. What other ones do we have that have that sort of shimmer? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Let me just see here. What other ones that we have? Oh, Stone, also same one. Stone has that little bit of a shimmer, and that's the one we use on brows. I'm so sorry, she's currently back ordered. I just placed the order. She's gonna be about 8 weeks. So in the meantime, Cocoa is the one that we're gonna be using on our brows. But those ones, they look shimmery, but they will blend off and it'll be matte, I promise. Okay, step 1. Sorry, I just looked at my mic and I thought I got makeup on me, but that's not it. So making sure, don't overthink this, get her on, get it packed in there. We're moving on. So usually I do my eyes first, and this is where your fingers come in as your blending tools and eraser tools. Okay, let's get into the cream. This is the fun part. Obsessed. If you do not have one, guys, run to your nearest pharmacy, to Source for Sports, order online. She is the best. Okay, we're gonna take this guy. We're going to take a clean, dedicated, all over blending brush. I like the all over blending brush, Jess prefers the detail brush, so it just depends on what your personal preference is. I like this guy because it's flat and also it blends off, I find easier, not taking a line. So I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna really make sure that this is very opaque. We want a lot of product in here. So there's waxes and someone's here and Lulu is just like jumping in the background here. So we're gonna grab it and we're going to apply. So starting in the center of our lid, okay? We're going to push in little presses all the way out to our last lash. So basically you can feel your eyeball rolling back behind your eye and you can feel that bone. Stop. Don't go past that. That's what's gonna droop the eye. And then blending in. Now we want this to be really opaque. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna do another layer. Here. Blending it in. So you saw last week how when I applied it straight on, it was very white and very opaque. When you blend it over top of Salmon Arm as a base, it's so like such a beautiful wash, and then it blends seamlessly up into your crease. So I'm stopping at my brow bone, okay? I'm not taking this all the way up. I want it to be incredibly opaque, meaning solid. There's no shadow shining through. It's nice and tacky at my lid, and then blending up and off into my brow. Okay, don't forget this little area here, because if you don't do it, you're gonna close the eye off, okay? Just like getting your hair dyed, you have to trust the process, okay? When you look like you're gonna call for an alien, right? You don't judge it. You judge it after, okay? All right, so starting here. And notice I'm going back and forth in multiple directions. So always starting in the center, and then I am going back and forth. I always find I have to do that on my left side. So if you're someone, again, that has more texture, back and forth, up and down, really blending this into the skin, and then I'm gonna work my way up to my brow bone and blending it off. Okay, I'm not overthinking it. I'm getting it on there. My pressure is really important. I'm gonna apply another layer onto my base. If you do not have enough layers of white at your lid, the shadow or the glitter is not gonna stick. And we're not doing glitter today, we're just doing shadow. Okay. She is on and ready to rock and roll. That is our base. We're gonna take that same, as I remove the color on my pants, we're gonna take the same brush that we use for our salmon. We're gonna remove that pigment. So whether you have a cloth, we'll just, you know, transparency. I usually use my pajama pants, and we're just going to remove it. And we're going to go in, and I'm gonna actually start with Barkerville. So Barkerville is this guy here, also known as Sunbeam for the OGers. And we're gonna do right in the inner corner. Watch this. Look at the pigment concentration when we apply and set it. Ooh, it's so good. Okay, so I'm using my iris as my guides. So my first one is my Sunbeam, aka Barkerville. Then over my whole iris is going to be Maple Ridge. And then my outside edge of my iris to my last lash is going to be Alluring, aka Fort St. John. Now I'm gonna go back and forth. It's kind of like a butterfly. This is what it, This is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a butterfly. So I'm gonna do this side again. This is the one time I'm gonna go back and forth. Really pressing it in. Your pressure is important because you want to think that you're setting that cream, okay? Really pressing it in. Blending up. So think of it like a butterfly. Step one. Step two, I'm gonna flip the brush around. We're gonna grab Maple Ridge, aka Sunrise. I always want to say Summer Nights, it's not that one. And we're applying this right over the center. Now, if you have more texture on your lid, I do not recommend this. You can see how it's accentuating my texture, but I also really don't care. So I love this look. Notice I'm staying very concentrated with my blending in the center and blending the edges into Sunbeam, Barkerville. I do want to make sure that when I look straight, you can see that sunrise into the crease and blending up and out and blending off into the brow bone. We're gonna do the same to the other side, starting in the center. This is where you want to be patient. When I say don't overthink it, also don't overblend and don't lightly blend. I'm really pushing this into that cream, into the grit stick so it stays. That's the key to success. Buffing the edge. I'm not taking this all the way down. If you have too much product, wipe it off. Blend that edge. Obviously, symmetry is very key here, so if you find that you take that too far, you can go back with Sunbeam and blend that edge. They're so pigmented that you can actually cover an edge like no other. So that's where you gotta be very particular and very precise a little bit on your blending. Okay. Last one, I'm gonna go in with that same brush. I'm gonna grab Alluring and I'm going to pat this, starting on that outside edge of my eye. I'm not going past my iris, or sorry, past my last lash. If I do, I will take my finger and I will drag that off. And now I'm patting up into my crease. I'm not wiping or swiping. I'm using a patting technique to blend this up and out. That is my 3-step, really easy eye that I can do this look in like 15 minutes. Not even actually, because I'm literally at 17 minutes now and I'm really describing every step. So I can probably do this in 5. Now, when I get to this part of blending, let's say my edge isn't the same as the other side. This is where a lovely large crease brush, you're gonna just kind of buff the edge. And you can buff all the edges with your clean large crease brush. Ha, if you don't have a large crease brush, missing out. I have like 2 and I love them in my at least 2. Okay, you could put mascara on and be done. I do the same of what I did on the top to the bottom. However, I'm actually going to put a little bit of the white into my waterline. So I'm going to take my lip brush and I'm going to grab the product like so. And I'm going to, oops, dropped that. I'm going to lightly pull and do a little bit of press into my waterline and then down into my lashes and into my lower lash line. So as my base for my shadow, because I'm going to mimic exactly what I did on the top to the bottom. Oops. Do the same to the other side. I find it's easier to go back and forth. So I'm pulling, I'm applying into my waterline, and then I'm gonna blend this. Making sure that my blend and opacity, it's the same amount of color on both sides, okay? So, because sometimes you can go in and the white can be really stark on one side and it can be really soft on the other. So that's where actually having a bigger mirror and looking from a distance, I don't have that yet in our logistics, so we're working with what we got. Okay, now we're gonna do exactly the same as what we did on the top to the bottom. So starting with Barkerville, I'm not gonna go into my waterline, I'm just gonna go right onto here. Take that cream off though, because she is, there we go. Barkerville. Oh, that's not Barkerville, that's Salmon. See, there's no lights in here. That's why it's not working. Okay, there we go, Barkerville. That's funny. Okay. There we go. And then we're gonna do sunrise in the center. So notice I'm using the same lip brush. I love the lip brush for underneath. Here. And then alluring, connecting it to the outside. So when in doubt, when you're like, I just want to get this on and you're in a pinch, apply your colors. Take your large crease brush, buff it over, and be done. There we are. Last step is we're gonna do some mascara. I'm gonna put that down. Mascara, top and a little bit on the bottom. So I like my mascara when I'm doing a look like this to be quite bold. So I take quite some time building this up in the little wiggles. If I do get it on my lid, because that happens if I don't have liner, I will take a Q-tip and I will roll it right away, so it doesn't stay. It doesn't create a hole. It's amazing. If you let that dry down and then try to get it, remember this doubles as a mask or a gel liner, transfer proof, it will not move. So grab it while it's still wet, twist it off. All about the wiggle. Now we're going to the other side. Remember, don't pump when you need to refill. You just go in and pull it out, okay? Don't pump your mascara. Do not pump, do not pump. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then we'll do a little bit on the bottom. 1, 2, I just do a little bit of press. And then for my blush, we're going to take our soft blending brush, and I'm actually going to kind of mix all 3 of them together, okay? All 3 together, wipe, and go over my cheeks in my circular motion. I can do a little bit of bronzer. And if you want more, I'm gonna go in with Alluring and Sunbeam, back and forth. There we go. That is my summer look for 2026. I am obsessed. I have did this look for in the heat, at ball, like everything in 40, like I don't even know how hot it was last week. It was insane. And I did this look for the awards. Because you know, when you're up for an award, you gotta show up, not just with no makeup and a ball cap. And it didn't crease, it didn't move. It's wild, like absolutely wild. Sports Color Cosmetics is no joke. When Katie got married too, of course I did her makeup and just did her photos, and she was up on a mountain on a helicopter and sweating, and she's like, I cannot believe that nothing moved. And even Jess mentioned, like, she's up and she's like, Sports Color Cosmetics is no joke. I'm literally seeing it in real life, going down, not moving, not separating. It's crazy. So that's what Sports Color Cosmetics is. It's pro performance on and off the field without harsh chemicals that affect your health, but they stay and they perform. So that is this week's makeup tip. I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below, comment where you're from. I would love to know, if you watch these weekly, what you would love to learn, what you are struggling with, so I can help you. So please comment, come say hi. Don't forget, if you are passing through Salmon Arm, if you are here in the shoe shop this summer, please stop in and say hi to Katie and Ange and book yourself in for a free pampering session. We would love to share the story of how my son and I created Gameplay Eye Black and how we ended up partnering with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and now used by the Western CFL. So if you are here in the shoe shop, welcome to the shoe, and we look forward to seeing you and pampering you at the Salmon Arm store.